This is the bandsaw. Bandsaw gets its name from, it's got two wheels, top and bottom, and it has it's got a big band that runs all the way around, and the blade comes down, passes down through here, it pulls the boards down and cuts. That's where the name band comes from. The bandsaw's main purpose is to cut curves, in any kind of irregular shape. You can cut a straight line with it, but its main purpose is to cut curves. We'll drill holes and we'll do some other things to help us make sure we don't break the blade, make some recuts, but its main purpose is to cut curves. A couple things that you need to know about the bandsaw. One is the upper guard needs to be adjusted so it's just above the wood, either a 1/4 inch or just above, either one of those. But there's this handle on the back side, this part right here, that needs to be loosened, and that allows this upper guard to be moved up or down, and then it locks back up there. If you don't unlock that, this will strip out. So, the bandsaw, first cut I'm going to make, I'm just going to kind of make that curve cut. I'm just going to make what I call a rough up cut, just cut off some of it. Then I'm going to make relief cuts, and I'll show you those as we go. From a safety standpoint, the biggest thing is we want to make sure we keep our hands out of line with the blade. If my fingers aren't lined up with the blade, I'm never going to push them into it. And so that's the biggest thing as far as safety. There's this little throat plate in here. We want to stay so our hands are always outside that. There's a 2-inch margin of safety on this machine. So we can get a little closer to it than most. We want to be out here. We never want to be in here. Right? So this is how it works. Part turned on. That's just kind of rough out cut, gets me into my basic shape. I'm going to drill that out, so I'm not going to do that one, but there's relief cuts I want to make. Anytime I'm going to go into a long cut like this one, I want to make sure I'm going to cut this relief cut first so I don't have to back out of that cut. Anytime you back out of a long cut, chances of pulling the blade off, because there's a guide that supports it on the back. When you're pushed into it, there's nothing that supports it on this side, so it's easy to pull the blade off. So we want to make sure we make relief cuts prior to making the final shape. I'm going to put a little relief cut, one relief cut in here, another relief cut there, and around the corners we'll end up doing what's called a tangent cut. We'll just keep nibbling that out until it gets to where it needs to go. So the on switch, this on-off switch, this big red button is the off. Inside there's a green light. That turns the machine on. So I made a couple relief cuts. I made one here, and I made one there. If I was going to cut this out, I'd make a bunch, but I'm going to drill that out and cut it out afterwards. And then I'll kind of show you how that works. The relief cut allows me to change direction. Now I can put a little more bend into it. If I get small pieces like that, sometimes they'll catch. I use the board, not my hands, to brush them out of there. This is where corner right here where I'm going to get my hand back out of the way. I'm not going to keep it on the line. And when it comes to that, come around the corner, I'm just going to take that cut and I'm going to come back in. Make another cut, and then I drill that hole and I just keep making that cut until I come around the corner. The last cut I'll make is this one coming in straight here. If I'm not on my line, I can kind of adjust back and forth. Because I made that relief cut, I was able to pop that out of there. Got a little close to my line here. So you can see there I've left my line. It's important you leave your line because we can sand and file it down through the line. If you cut past your line, then you don't know if you're staying with your pattern. But the purpose of it is to cut curves and irregular shapes. If you've got really kind of a sharp turn like this, you're going to have to make what are called relief cuts. To make that. We will drill holes and make relief cuts to make sure that we don't put too much tension on the blade and snap the blade. Right. It's called a bandsaw. Main purpose is to cut curves and irregular shapes. 2-inch margin of safety. Keep your hands out of line with the blade, and it's not a very difficult machine to use, and lots of people have had success doing it. Developing some skill and get it to cut what you want takes a little while.